Hello and welcome. I'm Jack Gaines, and this is your public affairs brief for civil affairs soldiers that are mobilizing, deploying, or going on exercise. Now, it's a quick brief, but there's going to be a couple practical exercises that are going to take a total of about 4 hours. The reason we're doing this is that Brigadier General Cooley and I did a communication assessment, and we found that we wanted to improve the relationship between civil affairs teams and CMOCs in the field with the theater commands, with the global combatant commands, with DoD overall. Additionally, we wanted to improve the coordination between the KCOM, the brigades, and the battalions. So let's get started. So, under Title 10 U.S. Code, Public Affairs is mandated to release all reports to Congress to the public. What that means for you is that your field reports, your storyboards, your CMOC reports all go up to the theater commands, they go to us, they go all the way up to FORSCOM, and then they go to Congress. Now, the total time takes about 30 days. So, during those 30 days, Public Affairs works with the staff elements to ensure that there's no OPSEC issues in the photos. We also reach out to our agency partners and make sure that there's no diplomatic issues or law enforcement problems that would come from releasing these images or statements. Public Affairs is there to vet your work, to make sure that it's safe for the U.S. to release to the public. So what's important is IO and PA work closely together. They do it to ensure that the mission is a success. We also work with other staff elements that have expeditionary arms, like J29 has a team that goes out and trains other partner nations on intelligence gathering. The J49 works with other countries to buy and rent storage space to work with landing fields. By knowing all these expeditionary sections, it helps to understand the total communication and influence of the operating picture. So, I'm a big proponent for civil affairs because it brings a lot to the table. It is the group that creates the access, the relationships, the human-to-human networks that allow public affairs, information operations, and the tactical forces to gain access, to have some type of negotiating power with partner nations so that the mission can be successful with the minimal amount of cost to people and resources. All right, for those who are going to the CMOC at the theater or at the joint level, I've got a few suggestions. First, make sure you've got your SIPR, of course, because you can't do a joint operation without SIPR. Next, I recommend getting to know JOP, Joint Operational Planning Process, because that's what the joint services use. It's similar to MDMP, but a little different also. I'll have a link to it at the bottom of the video. Also, I recommend that you, of course, network with the J9, but also start networking with the rest of the staff. Get to know the intel folks, get to know the 3, the 5, the 7 folks, because you're gonna have to start learning how to feed them information from the field that helps them do their mission. Also, by working with them, you'll find ways to where your professional talents can help them do their jobs, and that makes CA look like a team player. Now, when you're working in that level, make sure that you're speaking not only at the theater or the GCC level, but you're working 2 echelons up. So if you're at a GCC, talk about joint staff, talk about the national strategic strategy. If you're at the theater command like USARAF, make sure you're talking what the GCC is doing as well as what joint staff is doing. That'll let them know that you're keeping an eye on the big picture as you go through the planning and operational process. So for those working in the field, in the CA teams or with the embassy, your job is critical because you're building the networks, the human-to-human networks that no one else in DoD has. Also, your storyboards and updates are key to how the military perceives civil affairs and its impact on the mission. It's critical for you to build those networks and relationships, to share those up to the CMOC, to create a standard integrated process so that the embassy relies on you, agency partners rely on you, the partner nation loves having you there. Now, as you're writing your storyboards and your updates, ensure that your updates are clear. Make sure that your photos are compelling, and explain also why your work impacts up to echelons. So that would be the theater, that would be also the GCC, how you're helping them achieve their mission. Okay, so let's look at a couple storyboards, and I'll give a couple of recommendations to improve them. The first one comes from Agadez. It's the commanding general of the Indiana National Guard, and the J5 from AFRICOM came and visited the NCO Academy there. Now, the first photo has great visual effect. You can see the faces, they're all in a form of motion. It's very natural. Great photo. The second one is a much more difficult shot because the faces are away from the camera, but they're pointing the observer towards the subject, which is the NCO that the general is talking to. Now, the third one is called a lineup, and it's not recommended. I know people want to do it, take the photo, but leave it out. Put something else compelling in there. This is what it looks like when we go public. So the second storyboard is really terrific. It's also from Agadez. They show a lot of great graphics, very compelling stories. This one, the women from the Air Force Base got together and they pulled their money and they donated it to women with small businesses out in the region. So let's take a look. As you can see, they have a tactical graphic, they have a store graphic, they have an airman holding a child, and then they have a group photo with the classroom. It's not bad. It could have been more compelling, but it was solid. I recommend that you always lead with either a close-up of somebody that is impacted by the operation, or if it's a large-scale operation like a traffic accident or a disaster, to pull back to get the large scene and then go in and see the human drama. And that's going to help make your story more appealing to public affairs, IO, as they get it out into the public to shape the perception of the U.S. mission. This is what it looked like when it went public. It had a very strong draw. I went with the airman holding the baby because that was most compelling. That was going to drag people to the story. It got a lot of interest. All right, so one more comment about storyboards. Photography is moving towards animated GIFs, burst photos, and micro videos. I recommend that in the future, if you have bandwidth, to start embedding these type of images into your storyboards. It will help IO, it'll help PA to tell the story and move the mission forward. A quick comment about reach back. As you're deployed in your mobilization, your operations, your exercises, the command is here to support you. The brigades, the battalions, the KCOM itself are available, and we will help you by doing engagement stateside to support your mission. We'll work with Congress, we'll go up to DOD, we'll go and consult with SMEs in particular fields. We're available for you as you need. So that's the brief. Now on to the exercises. Okay, practical exercise 1. It's going to take about an hour to hour and a half. What we need is a panel of 3 to 5 people that have experience in working as a commander, a J code like the J2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or have agency experience. You know, they work for Department of State, USAID, something like that. Now, we're going to form up everyone else into teams 3, and they're going to go out and do something. Go out and have fun. Go out to lunch, go drive around. Just do something and then cover it. Create a storyboard, but don't do it just in a civil affairs perspective. I want you to create it in a way that is good for the full staff. The photos help PA or micro videos. The graphics in Write-Up help IO, they help the Intel office, they help the 3, the 5. I want you to come back with an integrated storyboard. And then the panel will judge on a point system how your board did. So once everyone's back, the panel will put everyone on break, score the boards, and then reconvene the group. And they'll go through the best practices of each storyboard as well as recommended improvements so that each team has a better understanding of why the graphics are important, how the write-up is important, how it affects the command. And then we'll move on to exercise 2. All right, practical exercise 2. Very similar to practical exercise 1. There's a panel of 3 to 5, there's teams of 3 going out, covering an event, writing a storyboard. But in this exercise, when you get back to class, you will also write a CMOC summary, which is a part of the CMOC report, and you'll present the summary and the slides to the class and to the panel. The panel will judge how well your presentation, your summary, and the storyboard integrate into the whole of staff. Does it have the commander's intent? Does it have anything for Intel? Do the photos support public affairs and IO's operations? All of the things that makes the A critical to the mission. So thank you for taking the course and the practical exercises. I wanted to integrate the communication aspects into your daily work, the storyboards, the CMOC reports, so that it helps you to be more impactful with the staffs you'll be working with. Additionally, I wanted to encourage you to reach back. The KCOM brigades, battalions are there for you to help you achieve your mission and be more impactful while you're downrange. I'm going to have a series of links to resources down below, the UPAR brief for public affairs, but you'll have a PAO in the field with you. Grab them. You know, if you have an IO with you, grab them too. Use them. They're resources to help you achieve your mission. And lastly, I wanted to reinforce the commander's goals of working to improve the theater relationship, the relationship between the brigades and battalions. We're all in this fight together so that we have future resources and missions that we can go on. So thank you and have a great day.